When we think of a great leader, we we think of him or her as the unwavering captain who guides us forward through challenge and complexity, confident and unwavering, armed with data and past experiences, and a person who has been celebrated in businesses and politics alike. But sometimes, and certainly now, a crisis comes along that is so new and urgent that it upends everything we thought we knew. One thing we know for sure is that more upheavals are coming. In a completely interconnected world, a single political uprising, a viral video, a distant tsunami, or even a tiny virus can send shockwaves around the world. Upheaval creates fear, and in the midst of it, people crave security, which can incline leaders toward the usual tropes of strength, confidence, constancy, uh, but it won't work. We have to flip the leadership playbook. First, this type of leadership requires communicating with, transparency and communicating often. So, how can leaders lead when there is so little certainty and so little clarity? Whether you're a CEO, prime minister, a middle manager, or head of a school, upheaval means you have to ramp up the humility. When what you know is limited, pretending that you have the answers isn't actually helpful. Amidst upheaval, leaders must share what they know and admit what they don't know. Paradoxically, this, that honesty creates a lot more psychological safety for our people and never less. For example, when the pandemic devastated the in the industry virtually overnight, CEO of the Delta Airlines, Ed, Ed Bastian, ramped up employee communications despite having so little clarity about the path ahead, facing truly dire results. At one point in 2020, losing over $100 million a day, it would have been far easier for Bastian to wait for more information before taking action. But effective leaders during upheaval don't hide in the shadows. In fact, as Bastian had put it, it is far more important to communicate when you don't have the answers than when you actually have. Second, act with urgency despite incomplete information. Admitting you don't have the answers does not mean avoiding action. While it is natural to want more information, fast action is often the only way to get more information. Worse, inaction leaves people feeling lost and unstable. When the New Zealand Prime Minister laid out a four-level alert system very early in the COVID-19 crisis, she lacked information with which to set the travel. Despite lacking answers, she did not wait to communicate about the threat with the nation. At first, she set the level at 2, only to change it to 4 2 days later as cases rose. That triggered a national lockdown, which no doubt saved countless lives. Later, when cases began to reduce, she made subsequent decision re- reflecting that new information. So third, leaders must hold purpose and values steady, even when goals and situations may change. Values can be your guiding light when everything else is up in the air. If you care about customer experience, don't let go of that in times of upheaval. If your core value is health and safety, put that in the center of every decision you make. Now, doing this requires very transparent about what your values are. And in this way, your steadfastness shows not in your plans but in your values. Prime Minister Ardern's clear purpose all along was protecting human life. Even as the immediate goal shifted from preventing illness to preparing health systems and ultimately to bolstering the economy. And finally, give power away. Our instincts are actually to hold even more tightly to control in terms of upheaval. But more often than not, it actually backfires. One of the most effective ways of leadership, if intuitive, is to share power with those around you. Doing this requires asking for help, being clear that you cannot do it alone, and this also provokes information while giving people a sense of meaning. Nothing is actually worse than a crisis, and nothing is more worse than feeling like there's nothing you can do to help. So it is better to follow this kind of leadership during upheaval because there is confidence not in the map but in the compass. So I believe that we should choose the right direction given the current information and then keep updating those directions. Most of all, that creates a lot of trust, and it motivates the people to trust in you at the same time.